So, Ryan, I'm dying to know, before we start talking about swimming, how in the world did you end up in swimming from the golf capital of the world, Augusta?
I started on a summer league team. I still play golf. I play golf plenty. I do that as much as I can when I'm not on the pool deck. It's a big thing in my family. A lot of my family's done it, plus, like you said, golf capital of the world. But I started on a summer league swim team. It was just a neighborhood thing. All the neighborhoods in Augusta, the CSRA in the Augusta area has a great summer league program, and it does a fantastic job getting kids involved in the sport in the summer. You know, one neighborhood swims another neighborhood, and it lasts for a couple weeks, and then there's a championship, and you move up and down leagues, kind of like the European soccer leagues. If you lose, you move down a league. If you win, you move up a league. And so I did that for a few years when I was 6, 7, and 8. And really enjoyed it. And by the time I was 8 or 9, I decided that swimming was something I wanted to do more competitively, and joined at that time Augusta Swim League and swam with them.
So now let's move out of the swim league. Then it was time to move on to college. What did you do for college?
From Augusta, I swam for Aiken Augusta Swim League and then Greater Augusta Swimming, and then I decided that the University of Tampa was the place for me to go. So after a couple trips to West Virginia, UNC Wilmington, some different places, I decided that UT was where I needed to be. I decided to go to UT, swim with Ed Brennan. I swam 200 IM, 400 IM, some different events for him. And then after that, just kind of got into coaching at UT. I did a little work for the Phillies right out of school down in Clearwater, but I just decided coaching was kind of the atmosphere that I liked, the job I wanted to do. And so in the summers for a little while, I was working with Ed Brennan's swim school that he has there, working with GTSA a little bit on the side, and then just over the years, it's become more of a full-time thing for me.
How much has swim changed since when you were swimming back in Augusta to where you see kids today, not only at the club level, but also since you're at UT, at the college level as well?
For me, in my experience as a club swimmer, I don't have the same background as a lot of people with the large yardage clubs that a lot of kids growing up my age swam. For my club was very small yardage, a lot of technique based. Which is where I think I get a lot of what I do in my club coaching, and then carry it into our college coaching as well. So for me, it's not that different. I've always swam kind of a race-based program and technique and things like that. The amount of things we can use to help advance the technique has changed a lot. The video analysis, the tools, the different toys you can use to make it exciting while you do those things has advanced tons. We used to watch a video and go get in and do it, but never really watch ourselves. Now you can watch somebody else do it and watch yourself do it, and that really has changed a lot. But for me, other than that, it's kind of the same. I try to base a lot of what I do with my 11 to 13-year-olds on what I did growing up, the technique-based stuff that we did, the swimming at race pace. And then we do a lot of that at the University of Tampa as well. Ed probably has no idea what yardage we do on a day-to-day basis, mostly because there's multiple different groups going on, but because it's not about that. We break swimming down into a stroke, a turn, a finish, how many strokes you take and how fast you take them. And it's really that simple for us. It doesn't matter, why swim 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 yards when a majority of our kids are going 200 frees and below, or 200 stroke races and below that are going to last 2 minutes. We just find it kind of unnecessary and overtraining. So we really try to break it down. We probably are on the blocks more than most clubs and colleges in the country, breaking down the first 15 meters, the first 12 and a half yards. Same with the turns. We're doing a lot of time stuff in the turn area, same in the finishes. We have our relay touchpad things that we're getting out and working on our relay takeoffs, all that kind of thing. And it pays off. We swam really good relays at the University of Tampa this year, and we think that breaking down those small things really helps.
It's interesting you're saying that, because I hear a lot of out of the pool. You're watching video. You're working on the dive. I'm sure you're doing a lot of dry land as well. Mm-hmm. How much of the swimmers' training is outside the pool compared to when they're in the water?
We're in the water a good bit. We're in the weight room 3 mornings a week. All of our kids are doing some kind of dry land 3 mornings a week, and we only go 10 workouts a week. So of the 10 workouts, they're in the weight room 3 times a week. So we do that, and then also, like I said, we're out watching. We do, you're watching other people do relay starts, or we want to have them swimming in their own lanes a lot. I think a lot of the problems I'll see at meets that we're at is a lot of kids circle swimming, and when you get to some of these bigger pools, the lanes are gigantic, and you got huge circle swims going on. We try to get our kids as often as we can swimming up and down the middle of the lane, so that we're not circle swimming when it comes to it. We still do it some, unfortunately, and we try to get rid of that, but we try to swim up and down the middle of the lane, and if that's the case, then obviously somebody's out and somebody's watching. And it's just really breaking down the times to even just the smallest things, 25s for time all the time, 12 and a halves for time all the time. And at that time, you're either out of the pool or the other person's swimming down. But it becomes really competitive. I mean, our guy sprinters at our college, the guy that has the fastest 12 and a half is not necessarily the best 50 freestyler, but it's a real big competition at our school to who's the best 12 and a half. So it becomes a big deal.
So I know you've mentioned University of Tampa. How did you get involved in Greater Tampa, the age group club?
We did kind of similar. I started with the UT and then also on the side started doing GTSA. And GTSA has changed a lot since I started. I started 6-7 years ago, and we were a real small team that kind of swam after the university program, and it was almost an afterthought. And it's been kind of my goal to build that program as we went and start with younger kids and build them to be now 15 and 16 that they are now, and even our 11, 12s and 13, 14-year-olds that are swimming really well. And we just joined forces this past fall with South Tampa Aquatic team and became one program. And we're now all of a sudden a 250 kid club.
Wow.
that has coaches at all different levels, and we're trying to do the best we can for each of those kids and everybody's different goals. I mean, we have some kids that want to make Olympic trials or want to win flags and things like that, but we also have younger kids that just want to have something to do and want to swim, and we're trying to have a service for all those kids.
How much in looking at not only age group, but I'm sure it probably is not as big in the college level, how much are the swimmers now looking to look at that swimsuit to say that's going to be the difference maker?
It actually is, I think, bigger in our college. Our club kids, my club kids, I think they're ready to swim fast whenever they want, and they feel like they can. A lot of our college kids, I don't know if it's maybe something they've learned at home or whatever the case may be, but they come in and think they only swim fast when we put a rest on it and when we put a suit on. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think you can, the suit helps, I get it, but I think that you can swim fast without the suit. I do think it affects some girls, some muscular bound girls especially, that more happens in our college, and it does help them a little bit. But I think especially when it comes to guys, I think you can swim with or without the suit. But I think it actually is more of an issue as they get older. They think that they need to put the suit on to swim fast.
At the college level, how much is nutrition a factor?
It's a big factor. We talk about it some, but we also have our strength and conditioning coach. He sits down with our kids early in the year and discusses dietary plans for all of them. Unfortunately, they get to go free reign in the cafeteria regularly and not necessarily following those dietary plans, but it is something that we discuss with them. I mean, they're burning a lot of calories, but if you go into the cafeteria every day and head straight to the area with the hamburgers and the pizza, that doesn't necessarily turn out well for us.
Two-factor question. What was your best moment in swimming as a swimmer?
I think probably for me, it was, I swam for a little bit of a smaller team. So when I was a sophomore and junior in high school, I swam for the Georgia Zone team, and we won those 2 years. The atmosphere of winning those two things as a team and as with people that I didn't necessarily know before that week, but becoming close with them, I still see some of those people on the deck occasionally that are coaching in other parts of the country. And even though we didn't necessarily swim together growing up, we're still good friends just from that week we spent together, and enjoy each other's company and talk to each other and share stories about that week. And I think that those 2 weeks are really things that I'll never forget.
Okay, let's flip the coin. Let's talk about greatest moment as a coach.
We just recently made our first Olympic trial cut as a team since I've been the coach at GTSA, and I'd have to say that was probably it.
All right, so we've had a chance to sit there and talk to swimmers. I said, look, if we have a chance to talk to any coach, what 5 questions would you ask?
Right.
Here we go. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Favorite movie?
Caddyshack.
If there was a movie made about your life, who would you hope would be cast as you?
He's not really an actor, but I think he might do a good job acting. Everybody tells me I look like him. It's John Daly.
If you had a theme song that played every time you walked on the pool deck, what would that theme song be?
Oh, man. Number One by Nelly.
All right. Who or what motivates you?
Winning.
One word that describe you.
Generous.
Well, man, thank you very much, Ryan.
No problem. Thank you.